full of good ideas, aren't I? What? Can I do that? Am I even Hispanic? Hello everyone, welcome to my channel for today's video. I'm so excited because I'm going to be reviewing the Melt Cosmetics Amor Y Mariposas collection. Well, not the collection, just the palette. And I do 3 looks with this palette. This is my 3rd look, and let me tell you, we had differing opinions from the beginning to the end. Let's just say that much. So yeah, I'm just going to go through some swatches and I'm going to do the 3 looks, and I'm going to let you guys know my thoughts on this palette throughout the video, and as well as the end, my final thoughts. And if you're new here, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel. I do a ton of videos just like this, these 3 looks, 1 palette reviews type videos, and let's get into this video. So this is the palette. The packaging is something else. Let me tell you, the packaging is what hooked me from the start, honestly. And even the outer cardboard packaging, this is made out of velvet, this inside. I love the pop of red and the fact that it's velvet. I'm not throwing this box away. I'm gonna take good care of this box. It's very good quality. You could tell the thought that went behind this whole entire collection. The moment I saw this, I knew I wanted it, and I've never tried Melt eyeshadows before, so this is my first Melt palette. This is Melt first 20 shade eyeshadow palette, and it's $70. It's made in Italy, and it has a 12-month shelf life, which is actually quite less than a lot of other eyeshadow palettes, but I think it's due to it being a pressed pigment palette. Vivid jewel and neutral tones inspired by the comforting memories that find you after grieving a loved one lost, reminding you of the vibrancy of life. A message so timely and divine. It has to be a special sign sent just for you. I love the whole vibes of that. I love the artwork on the palette itself. It is so pretty, and the embossment on the eyeshadows with the butterflies on every single shade, every single matte at least, is so pretty. It just adds so much to the palette. I love that you get a full-size mirror here. I know it's a bigger palette for a lot of people. A lot of people prefer smaller palettes, but I think you get so many options in here. The color story is totally my vibes. If you like vibrant colors, then I think you will love this palette a lot. Please keep in mind this is a pressed pigment palette, so they're not eyeshadows, and that makes them a little trickier to work with. Like, you have to know exactly what to do. You have to know how to work with these shadows in order for them to not look patchy and to come across as dark as you would like. I struggled with getting depth in my first look as well, and I think the key is to start with the deepest shade, which I do say throughout the video. Toward the end, when I swatched them, I was like, wow, they swatched so pretty, buttery and smooth. But something I did notice about the shimmers is that they're a little bit inconsistent throughout the palette. Like, this Mariposa shade is just that, a shimmer. It's just a shimmer, but it actually looks in the pan like a metallic, like the other metallics. This is a metallic, this is a metallic, and this Michoacan shade over here, which is the one I have on my lid right now, it's also a metallic, but it actually swatches more like just a shimmer. It's not as intense. It's pretty intense, but it's like not as intense as, for example, Mesquite or Tequila, which are more of those crumbly metallic shades, if you catch my drift. Even swatching them right here, you can see that this Mesquite shade right here is already really crumbly, which is what I like in a metallic. I like for them to be super intense and crumbly. It did make it work. It looks really pretty on the lid, and I'm really happy with this palette overall though, but I did just notice those inconsistencies with the metallics. Personally, I like the crumbly metallics, but not a lot of fallout on my face, which I'm happy about, but there is a lot of kickback in the pans because they're pressed pigments. They're gonna be pigmented, obviously. They're gonna have the kickback. And yeah, okay, I think that's everything I have to say about the palette. And yeah, let's get into the first look. For this first look, I definitely want to go in the green direction. I have like a holiday look in mind that I want to create today, and I want to see if I can achieve it with these greens. Such pretty greens here. I'm so excited to use them. So the first shade I'm gonna go in with is Cariño, which is this light green right here. Honestly, all these greens are very unique. I don't think I have anything like this in my collection. Like this particular shade right here, it is so stunning. So I'm gonna take that. Whoa, this is gonna be my transition shade because it's the lightest green, but I probably will go in with like all the greens. I'm not sure if I'll use the shimmer greens, but I do want to test out the mattes, and I have like this like holiday look in mind that I want to achieve with like green and gold. That's what I have in mind. Let's see how this blends out though. So right now I'm just packing it on. This is blending out so nicely. I love this green so far. Next I'm gonna take Sentimientos, which is the next green obviously, and it's just gonna deepen it out. I wish there was like more of a holiday green, like an emerald green matte shade. That would be so pretty, especially for the look I have in mind, but we're gonna make this work. I might actually be able to build this up enough that I leave it like this and not have to go in with the deepest matte. We'll see. Before it gets too out of hand, I'm going to take a little bit more of Cariño and just kind of blend out the outer edges. See, these two are kind of blending into one shade. I'm kind of having a hard time seeing the difference. There is a lot of kickback in the pan, but that's because they are pressed pigments. It's gonna have a lot of fallout. That's why I didn't do my base first. Yeah, I'm gonna deepen it out because I just think it needs more depth. I wish there was, like I said, another like emerald something, but I'm gonna go in with guamuchil. I don't know what that means. I gotta look that up. I'm fluent in Spanish. Spanish is my first language, but I don't really know what that is. I'm wondering if this is a palette, a formula that you need to start with the deepest shade and work outwards. The thing is that I don't really want this to be like the prominent looking shade. I don't want army green. I want more of an emerald green. I guess I can blend this out and it'll kind of just look like it deepened it out. This is not going to be exactly what I'm looking for this look, but it's okay. What I notice about pressed pigments is that you just have to blend, like pat and blend, but try not to blend in huge circular motions because then you get a little bit of patchiness. So you just want to like pat and lightly blend, like with very little pressure. Quickly cut my crease and I'll be right back. I did go ahead and add a little bit more of the deep green shade over here to like start, you know, blending out the outer corner, but it's getting a little patchy in this corner. Can you guys see that? Pretty patchy if you ask me. I'm using a different brush now and it's working a little bit better actually. Guys, I'm finding this very difficult to work with. I'm not gonna lie. I can't get this to not be patchy and look good. I'm on the verge of wanting to start again. That's how much I'm not enjoying this. Let me give it one more chance and go in with the lid shade. I'm gonna go in with the shade Tequila, which is gold. This gold shade. This is a really nice metallic. Oh, that is pretty. So it's gonna go all over the lid. This is a gorgeous color combo. I do like the formula of the shimmers. I could tell just by swatching them. They're so like gorgeous. Whether you pick it up with a brush or your finger, actually the finger looks a lot better. I'm obsessed. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go in a little bit with Cielito Lindo, which is the green, just to bridge the gap between the dark green and the gold. And actually I think the look is coming together quite a bit more. I do have to say Tequila is a little bit of a different formula. It's more intense metallic, whereas Cielito Lindo is like a shimmer. See, it's not like, I don't know, it's more in terms of texture, like the way you feel it, versus this one is like more crumbly and like stunning. I freaking love that shade and I love the combo together. I think it was a good idea to do that. So full of good ideas, aren't I? I'm gonna go ahead and do the lower lash line. I'm gonna take the deepest shade first. I did put a little bit of concealer close to my lower lash line just to like, you know, help prime, because I want to do this before the face. I just have a feeling I'm gonna get so much fallout everywhere and I don't want to deal with that when my makeup's already on. I'm gonna go in with the medium shade, kind of blend that out. It is really pigmented, intensely pigmented. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and blend everything out with that really light shade, just all of the outer edges. I think this came together a lot more than I thought it would. It's not exactly the look I had in mind, and I had to work really hard to get this to blend out, which is unfortunate. I just think that the formula is a little tricky. Maybe I just need to try a different technique. I think having a clean brush on hand just to blend out the outer edges is key. I just feel like I took this a little too far over here and it's looking really messy and I'm just, I just want this to look good. This might be as good as we're gonna get. It's as blended as it's gonna get. It's just so hard to work with and I'm sad. I'm gonna take a little bit of Tequila, the gold shade, in the inner corner, but I'm gonna try to like diffuse it so it's not as like intensely gold. So that's why I'm taking like a fluffier brush. Yeah, that looks better. It looks like it's two different shades. I like that. Okay, so this is the final first look. I think it came together really well in the end, but it was a struggle bus. I was on the struggle bus the entire time. Honestly, this is very difficult to work with, but I'm excited to see what else I come up with the other shades, the other color stories, and like the other two looks that I'm gonna do. Hopefully they'll go a little bit easier. I do think that greens are very hard to formulate. I often run into troublesome greens, so it wouldn't be the first time that greens have given me trouble for sure. So it is what it is. I still really love the color story of this palette and the whole vibes of this palette, so hopefully the other two looks will do the palette justice. So let's get into them. And we're back for look number 2. So I want to keep it like a little bit more neutral this time, kind of, maybe, I don't know, we'll see what I end up going with. But I'm gonna start with Mensaje, which is this like mustardy, like beautiful transition shade. I will say, when looking at the color story of this palette, I don't see a good inner corner highlight, and I didn't even realize this yesterday when I was like using just the same gold shade in my inner corner. It didn't even occur to me that there's no good inner corner highlight. But it's okay. I mean, we're gonna be, ooh, this is really pigmented. I mean, they're all really pigmented because they are pressed pigments. Hopefully I have more luck today and everything blends out a little bit more easily. I realized yesterday, this is a new day by the way, that I was a little bit rushed. I was trying to get a makeup look done for my 25 days of Christmas. So I was just really rushed yesterday. I was like, I gotta do this look for tomorrow. If I don't do it today, I can't do it. So far this is blending out quite nicely. I still see a little bit of patchiness, and honestly I think it's my eyeball. It's just not, or maybe it's the primer that I'm using. I am not like loving the P. Louise base anymore as I once did, you know? So that's interesting. Okay, next I'm gonna go in with Abuelita, which is like a peachy shade. I think I'm gonna go with like a reddish color story-ish. I say ish. And then I'm gonna put like, maybe I'll put the orange on the lid. We'll see. Ooh, this is gorgeous. So I'm just gonna concentrate that on the outer corner and then I'll blend it. This is blending much more nicely than yesterday. Greens again are very, very hard to formulate. So it could be that that's why I just had a hard time yesterday. I was also very rushed. So I'm taking my time today, even though I have a lot to do. And it's already, the day is halfway gone and I'm like freaking out. Taking more of mensaje and just kind of blending out the outer edges. Again, I'm having a much easier time today. Maybe these are just easier colors to work with. Maybe I'm just taking my time. Who knows? Okay, and then I'm gonna go in with Perla, which is the red, and just deepen it out even further. I don't know, is this red or pink? In some lights, it looks pink. Like sometimes I'm looking at it and it's like, oh, it's a hot pink. But then sometimes I'm like, nah, it's a red. I don't know. It's really interesting how people interpret colors differently, or even how we ourselves interpret colors like from one moment to the next in different lights. Colors are just so interesting. Colorblind people also fascinate me. I'm getting on a weird tangent anyway. It's not as deep as I thought it would. There's a lot of kickback in the pan with this one. Obviously it's a red. Red is very difficult to formulate. I have actually never found a red eyeshadow that's actually completely like foolproof. This is doing pretty well though. It's not as deep as I thought it was gonna be though. I thought it was gonna be like way deeper. And then on the lid, I'm gonna go in with Mariposa. Mariposa, when you swatch it, it's not as like intense. It's more of like a satin than a metallic. It's not labeled as a metallic like the other metallics are. So that's unfortunate. I'm gonna go in with Mariposa in like the outer part because I wanna keep the lid like kind of orangey, but I'm gonna go in with maybe Mesquite, which is like the bronzy shade. Just to like, I mean, I don't know. It actually says to dust this on your cheek for a blush. And I'm like, what? Can I do that? Isn't that illegal? So, I don't know. I think that this would be a very shimmery blush, but okay. I mean, I would totally try it. Let's go ahead and take Mesquite, which is Mesquite. You know, I'm not sure what that means in Spanish, and I'm fluent like I keep saying. This is more of a metallic. This is like a bronzier shade. And then I'm going to put that in the inner part. Okay, that's pretty. It's a pretty shade, but I don't like it. Yeah, I wanted the orange to be the more prominent shade, so I'm just gonna put the orange on top. I mean, it gave it more of like that reflect, like that intense metallic feel. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye, but I'm gonna go in with the orange on top for sure. I love orange. I don't know why. I'm gonna take more of Perla and just kind of like diffuse that outer edge right there. On the lower lash line, I'm just gonna grab Perla on a more like precise brush. I did put a little bit of primer, and honestly, this is the only shade I want to put down here. I really want the red to come across, and I'm just gonna pack it on and then I'll blend it out. Blend it out with the other brush I was using for that shade on the top part of my eyeballs. In the inner corner, I'm gonna grab a little bit of Tequila, which is the gold. I just think that this is gonna be the only inner corner shade you could really take if you want to use something from this palette. Honestly, I would probably go in with just my highlighter or something like that if I was using this palette. If you take a really fluffy brush, it won't be as like an intense metallic in the inner corner. Or you can if you want. Okay, so this is the final second look. I'm really loving how this look turned out. I like this one more than the first look. I'm really liking the quality of this. I love the orange and I wish it was the metallic. I feel like they dropped the ball in there. It was just like a kind of a boring, just a plain shimmer shade. It's really pretty tone though. I really like it. Overall, this look is really pretty. Not exactly fall winter appropriate, more like a bright summer look, but that just shows you the versatility of this palette. So really happy with this look. Let's see what I come up with for the last look. For this last look, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to go in with the deepest shade first. So I'm gonna start off with Noob. I'm not sure what that means either. Hello, am I even Hispanic? I'm not sure. I might go deeper than this. Oh man, there's a lot of kickback in the pan, and I just took off my last eye makeup look, and I'm keeping my foundation on, so hopefully this doesn't ruin everything. I'm gonna be very careful and just try to place it where I want it, because pigments tend to be very messy. Oh, this is very deep. Oh, I like it. I think I might keep that as the deepest shade, actually. I really want it to be a very purpley, like a heavy purple look. But then that means I'm gonna have to like blend that out with a shade that I've already used. But that's okay. Packing on the shades is gonna make it a little bit less patchy. That's usually what I have to do with pigments. Pressed pigments is working out a lot better already. I'm very happy about that. I do want to mention I'm getting a little bit of inspo from Morgan Turner because I watched her review last night. When I had issues yesterday, I just wanted to watch her video, her review, and see what she thought about it because I trust her a lot, and she actually like loved it. I'm like, shit, what am I doing wrong? So I'm getting inspo for this look from her because she combined the purple and the green bluish. Oh, that emerald shade, that is so pretty. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. See how much better that looks already? I'm gonna go ahead and just sweep this on the lower lash line anyway. And I just kind of blended out the edges, and it's just doing, it's looking so much better already. I'm gonna go in with Abuelita, which I did take in the last look, and that's like this peachier shade. Let's see if it helps blend it out. I might have to go in with Perla, which I also used in the last look, but it's okay. It's just what's gonna help blend out the purple. Okay, this combo might be giving me a life. So I'm lightly taking it on the outer edge, and then I'll have to go back in with the purple and just intensify it a little bit more. This is gorgeous, actually. It's blending out so nicely. Let's just quickly go in with some more purple. I'm also going to sweep that on the lower lash line. I'm also noticing that you really have to pack on. You can't really just go in and blend it out like any shade because it won't be as pigmented as it should be. On the lid, I'm gonna take Michoacan. This is such a stunning shade. Oh my god, it comes across so pretty. It's like a teal. Michoacan is actually described as a metallic, so I'm gonna leave it at that. It actually doesn't feel as intense as tequila or mesquite. So it's interesting. I think the metallics are kind of inconsistent throughout the palette. It's not as crumbly looking even in the pan, but I don't care. This is a gorgeous color combo right here. When I saw Morgan doing that, I was like, I need that on my eyeballs right now. I'm so glad that I did this. Also, I don't think I've mentioned this throughout the video, is that there's no fallout on my face and my foundation still looks okay. What is falling out is my stupid mascara because it's a tubing mascara, so I'm getting those little particles. This is stunning. Pack on a little bit more of Nube. You know what? There's no accent. There's no acento. The acento matters, you know. Am I even Hispanic? I don't know what half these words mean. I should probably look them up. I should probably know. Like the whole collection is so cute because of how intentional it is. Oh, I just love the whole vibe of Milk Cosmetics. Honestly, this is a stunning palette and I eat my words, and I wish I could go back and redo that first look starting with the deep shade. Now that I know what I have to do, I think it would turn out so much better. This is why I do 3 looks, because you never know. The first time it could be a fluke, or it could be like the palette's not any good. In this case, it was definitely a fluke. User error. Did not know what I was doing in that moment, okay? Okay, so this is the third and final look. I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. Let me tell you, this is my favorite look out of all the 3 of them. I think that this palette is gorgeous. You need to know how to use it. So I would say, like I've said a million times during this third look, just go in with the dark shades first, blend them out, and then blend out with a lighter shade, and you'll have a better time, an easier time, and not get too patchy. I think that this color combo is really unexpected and really gorgeously unexpected, and I'm really excited to play around with the rest of the shades. I do think there are a couple of redundant shades. These 2 are very similar to one another, and these 2 are also quite similar. They're only a slightly different in hue, so that gets a little bit annoying. I still love the color story, I still love the palette, and I'm really glad that I do these reviews this way, 3 looks, 1 palette, because I could really change my mind about a palette just from one look to the next, and that's exactly what happened. happened. My second look was better than the first, and this one just sealed the deal for me. This was, I don't regret purchasing this. Such a great quality palette, really sturdy packaging, gorgeous packaging. Like the thought that went behind this collection, I'm really happy that I picked it up, and I'm really excited to try more of Melt's products in the future and see how they compare to these, because this again is my first Melt eyeshadow palette, but really happy with it. So yeah, that completes this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Let me know which look was your favorite. I have to say this one was my favorite, but again, tell me your opinion. I would love to know your thoughts. Also, please let me know if you picked up this palette and what you think of it, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out so much. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. You just add so much to the look. I love that you get away. Of course I did. Hopefully they'll go a little bit easier. I do think that